Yep. Another album review. This is my fourth album review in 24 hours. Record for me right there. But we're going to be talking about something different here for the album reviews. We are going to be talking about an album that came out last week that I've been wanting to check out for a few days, but now I finally got a chance to check it out. It's from a newer band that's been around since the mid-2000s, and they're a band from Boston, Revocation, and this is their brand new album, Deathless. Brief history background on the band Revocation. Revocation is a thrash/technical death metal band from Boston that started out in the early 2000s with a name called Cryptic Warning, but then that band split up, and now Revocation formed in 2006. They made an independent EP which got them signed to Relapse Records for their first 4 albums, including last year they had their self-titled album, which was very good among metal listeners. And now that they're no longer on Relapse, they are now on Metal Blade, which is a big step up for me personally, and for a lot of people. And they come out with a new album, Deathless. Now with this album, Revocation takes their influences of both death, prog, and thrash all into a mixed bag, like bands from Megadeth to Death to Suffocation to Opus, and all these kinds of bands where they're taking the speed of thrash with the musicianship of a tech death band. And boy, did it make for some great songs on here. We kicked off the album with Adept Ode to the Grave. That, along with the next 3 afterwards, Deathless, the title track, of course, Labyrinth of Eyes, and Madness Opus. All of them just phenomenal tracks. I really, really loved them, particularly Madness Opus, which was the longest song of the album at nearly 6.5 minutes. It's just that each of those songs had something unique about it, where the riffs are very atonal, jazzy, dissonant, but with like a little bit of a thrash, with a lot of thrash influence in some of those riffs, and the speeds as well with the drums and everything. But you get some blast beats and some very and you get some odd time signatures in some of these tracks, and some atmospheres that go on in those tracks. The song Scorched Earth Policy and the song The Fix. Those were the 2 shorter songs of the album at under 4 minutes. They weren't bad songs at all. They were actually very good. It's just I didn't feel they were as good as the rest of the tracks on the album. The Blackest Reaches was one of the dark songs of the album, simply put, because of the lyrical content behind it. United in Hellitree was a very good, great track, to be honest with you. That song really just had something unique about it. But the instrumental that came in after, in the next to last track of the album, Apex, one of those very beautiful instrumentals that's probably one of the best instrumentals I've heard in quite a long time. It just had the atmosphere behind it. And haven't I said atmosphere enough on this review? Probably not, and it's probably nowhere even close to being over. But the song Apex was one of my favorite tracks of the album, along with Madness Opus and Adept to the Grave. But also we get to the finale track, Witch Trials, which was the second longest song of the album at a little over 6 minutes. Really, this album, top to bottom, was just filled with some awesome tracks. The opening track was great. The ending track, which is the track that gave the band a lot of free reign to do whatever they wanted to do, and they were able to construct a masterful song with Witch Trials. I mean, Madness Opus definitely had that going for him as well, don't get me wrong. Witch Trials, though, I just feel had a bigger atmosphere to it, and where it got, at one point, and also even in the song Apex, at one point it would go silent, and then there would be some soft melodies going on in the background that is very resemblant of prog metal. So there was definitely a growth, I think, within their realm of just sheer beauty. Like, this album at times goes from beauty into chaos, and then it would just go strictly into chaos and then strictly into beauty. At one point it sounded like the soundtrack to the apocalypse in a way, but overall the album just became beauty, just based on how the songs were constructed and how just diverse the album really was, with how they were able to go from 1 minute playing standard Bay Area thrash to at 1 minute playing progressive technical death metal. And the vocals, I ought to say, by David Davidson, who is also the guitarist. His vocals are very, very good. I think he's got a great voice to him, where he can go from the death growls into like grindcore kind of pig squeals, into some like thrashy vocals at times, particularly on the song, I believe, Deathless. I think that was one of the only songs of the album where he did something that wasn't death metal related in his voice. But overall, this album, wow. Great album. I really, really enjoyed this album. You have that very good mixture of the thrash speeds with the musicianship of a progressive technical death metal band. The guitar work on this album was just off the chart. The vocals were awesome. The atmospheres that was going on throughout the whole entire CD really was just wow. The production on this album was unbelievably good. I mean, Chris Zeus Harris has always been a great producer. I mean, he produced a lot of Hatebreed albums, and he's done work for Shadows Fall and a bunch of other great bands. The riffs and the solos, very atonal, jazzy, dissonant, that made it so diverse. And of course the diversity on this album, where, like I said, you get 1 minute, you're listening to like a standard Bay Area aggression thrash band, to another minute you're hearing some very virtuosic, progressive, technical death metal. But wow. I give this album praise for the musicianship behind this album, and I dug this album a lot. 9.25 out of 10. Great album. This is definitely one I would recommend to any fan of some complicated heavy metal. This is an album for you. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this review. So now, we don't have very much albums left to check out. If I can check out my albums list of what I need to look up, there's only 9 albums left that's to come out that is maybe just a week out, or there's some coming out later on that we're going to be checking out, like stuff from the Agonist, Exodus, Cavalera Conspiracy, Sick of It All, the Devin Townsend Band, Unearthed, Job for a Cowboy, Machine Head, and the Melvins. Those are going to be the albums that we're going to be checking out pretty soon. Although maybe not for another few weeks, because like the Agonist album comes out. I think Agonist, Cavalera Conspiracy, Job for a Cowboy, and Machine Head are the only albums that are coming out next month. A couple of these have already been out, at least during today or a week or two ago, that we will be checking out soon. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace.